Alright, and here's a video review for Transformers Earthspark Deluxe Class Twitch, or TERRAN Twitch. I guess I should say they are Terrans, the new Transformers born on Earth. But yeah, new cool little drone mode based off of Wheeldrax drones is the mode that Twitch scanned. And it's a fun little drone. I like the big spotlight, yellow eye on the front of it. The fans do. They don't spin for a long time, but they do individually spin. Got some little secondary support fans back here, little landing feet. The gun is removable. It just actually just pegs right in here and then kind of friction holds up against the shoulders. But it stays on well enough. And it's just a fun little drone design. I like the little fins coming back here. There's one piece. Just neat and fun. Now, one of the things that excited me about it is because, as I mentioned, Megatron came with severed human arm. Like the human arm for Mandroid. And it looked like, the packaging makes it look like what's highlighted here and on the back, 3 and 3. She's number 3. Bumblebee comes with the purple robot arm that you see in the show. And there's another robot arm over here that we haven't seen him get yet. But I thought, alright, finally, she comes with a head and torso, so we won't have disembodied human parts, and it's actually incorrect. The torso comes with Nightshade, who may be part of a third wave. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the red... Like, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 and 7 are a different color, so I don't know if that indicates that... I know these 3 are wave 1, these 2 may be wave 2, and then these 2 may be a wave 3. I'm not sure why these are all black letters or numbers, and these are kind of a reddish hue. But regardless, it doesn't come out until figure 7 is what the torso comes with. What comes with Twitch is, even more disturbingly, you get the backpack that will go on the torso, and these pieces come off. I guess you can plug this into his torso and then kind of fit these around his chest. Or at least take them off, put these around his chest, and then plug the whole thing in together with these going into the slots versus trying to squeeze him through these things, which is nice. And then there's like a little articulated, just right at the shoulder, there's a ball joint for these little claw arms. Very well and cool, but the other piece it comes with is just a disembodied head. Now it does, one, there's a pin on it, and I'm not sure why, because it's the gray piece is pinned onto the head, but it doesn't actually have, I mean, it's got a little bit of wiggle just from where the molding doesn't come all the way down, but there's not really articulation there at that pin. It's just pinned together, and then there's the ball joint here lower, which will probably let his head move. Scally, but so, to sum up, if you buy Twitch and Megatron, you get a robotic backpack and a severed arm and a severed head. So we'll hang on to those until we have more pieces to assemble Dr. Meridian into his complete self, but yeah. Severed human body parts. Exactly what you think of when you think Nickelodeon Transformers. Anyway, rant over. Here is Twitch, and we'll get right to the transformation. Now, the thing is, I like Twitch. I think as a deluxe class, fits that size class better. Where, like I said, Megatron felt a little small. Twitch feels about right for the size class with her earthen design. But there's just some of the joints are a little loose, and there's some tricky bits to getting it all together into drone mode. And I'll try to go over those as we reverse this back. The gun just comes off, and like I said, the gun does stay on pretty decently. It's not hard to knock it off if you want to get it off, but it does stay on. You can swoosh her around, no issues. But you come down here. Now, these pieces just come up on these little ball joints. You can lift these up, and they'll start to rotate out like that. That's fine, not the end of the world. This canopy piece, you can see there is the robot head here, and here's the canopy chest piece. And it doesn't sit up here naturally. It wants to kind of droop down just a little bit. It's tabbed under the feet here. The feet are tabbed in. There's a little tab on each side. It goes right up in here, right under the ball joint for the rotor. And that kind of locks this in place. But in order for that to be secure, you have to, the feet, let's see if I can get these out of the way here. That side tab on the foot goes into the rotor. There's the heel tab. There's a tab here on the waist piece, on the red piece that goes into the foot. You'll see it when I pop the leg off. And I'll go ahead and do that on one side here. So you untab this, and then there's this tab right here. So you want to make sure you get that. There's a smaller tab inside the heel of the foot. So you want to make sure when you're folding this up, one, you rotate it around like this, fold this around, make sure this is out for the clearance, and you got to tab that on, and then you can kind of work the tab up into that. And that'll hold it fairly securely, but you got to remember to get all those tabs in place, and the instructions aren't super clear about that. But anyway, get this out and rotate the leg out. Same over here, rotate the leg out. You can close these panels all the way up into the leg like that. Flip the foot forward. The foot is on a ball joint here as well as a hinge right here, so you've got a pretty decent range of motion in the foot, but we'll get to that later on. Close the thighs over like that. And then these pieces right here, the little landing gear, fold up in half like that. Open the arms up, and they tab on. And again, when you fold this up, there's a little tab here on the inside of the teal piece that fits into a slot on this core piece. I don't know what this core piece really does aside from give something for the arms to tap into, and it just folds up into the body. But when you fold that down, you want to make sure you're rotating the arms in such a way that that teal tab goes into the slots here at the top of this piece that folds out of the chest. And you just rotate them around like that on the elbows. And then this piece right here comes, the chest piece folds down, revealing the head. And then you can rotate the turbines however you want. These kind of sit on the back as a cape. This piece does flip up. That's where they come up for alt mode, but this whole assembly comes down. And this piece actually does kind of tab into the back fairly securely. This piece has what looks like molded tabs here that would fit in these little gaps right here on the abdomen. And they do, but they don't latch. They just kind of go in there, but there's no locking mechanism. So it's really, this piece is, they don't appear broken, but they don't appear to have any sort of like catching mechanism on there, either on here or inside these tabs. It's just flat square tabs and then a couple of little nibs there. And you can kind of hear it click that last little bit, but it doesn't really hold. I mean, it'll hold well enough if you're just displaying it. Like, it's not going to sag just from displaying it, but it's real easy to knock that loose. And I wish that latched into place a little better. But yeah, move the rotors are on ball joints. These are on ball joints, so you can rotate the kind of cape fins out however you want. Head's on a ball joint so it can look around. Let's go to ball joint shoulders, bicep swivel, hinge elbow, wrists are solid. Oh, no, wrists are solid pieces. There is a waist swivel. You got ball joint hips, a thigh swivel there, single hinge knees, and then, like I said, the hinge and ball joint there at the foot. And all in all, it's a pretty nice little representation of Twitch. Some of the joints are looser than I like. You can see I'm kind of having to fiddle to get her to stand properly. And some of that can be adjusted by moving the turbines forward a little bit more. But the hips are a little loose. And the ankles are a little loose. The shoulders are actually quite tight. And the arms are pretty sturdy. The head is sturdy, but like really loose here at the hip. It doesn't take much for the hips to like kind of just wiggle around. And the ankles could be a little sturdier. So sometimes getting her to stand is a pain, depending on how you've got everything balanced. And even this, just trying to, you can see how this leg's wanting to twist at the ball joint. And you can take a little fiddling. But I think the design is nice. I think it looks like a very nice representation of the character on the show. And I love the alt mode. I just wish it held together a little better. Not really held together. I wish it stayed. It doesn't take much, like I said, to knock her out of position. And that's a pain. The gun fits in her arm just like that. You can put it on either hand. Oh, also when you're folding up, there's little tabs here. Oh, the legs. That was the other tab on the legs. I knew there was something. So this little, the tab on the waist goes into the foot. The tab here on the side of the foot goes up under the rotor assembly. And then this tab right here on the inside, on the outside of the leg, goes into this slot on the arms when they're folded back. So those are the three. This tab, and then this tab are the three you want to make sure you have lined up properly for alt mode. And again, the instructions aren't super clear on that. But all in all, it's a fun representation of Twitch. If you've seen the show, like I like the alt mode. I like the design of the robot mode. Nick Roche, I hope I'm saying that right, who did More Than Meets the Eye and Last Stand of the Wreckers, and did a lot of Transformers work for the comics in the last few years. Did a lot of the robot designs, and you can see it here in Twitch especially. I think has a very Nick Roche type of design. But like I said, very nice deluxe. Fits better in that scale, I think, because when I said Megatron is small, I like Megatron. It's a fun figure for me. It's a nice representation, again, of the TV character, but it's just small for both Megatron, and I feel like if it were a little larger, some of the gimmicks and the transformation could be a little bit more involved and a little bit cooler. Because you see here, like, next to Twitch is a nice deluxe class figure. A little skinny, but she's supposed to be a little smaller and skinnier and wiry, and I like that in the design. But when you put it next to Megatron, you can see just how small Megatron feels in this size class, despite the fact that I think it's a generally good representation of the character, and not even a bad representation of the alt mode. But, like I said, it could be more involved. I think he'd be better as a Voyager or larger. But especially when compared to other figures in the same size class, he just feels small. Whereas Twitch, I think, is perfectly sized for the class. Still feels a little small for the price you're paying. I wish it were a few bucks cheaper. But all in all, this is a deluxe class Transformers figure, I think it fits. Anyway, there is deluxe class TERRAN Twitch from Transformers Earthspark. If you haven't watched it, I think it's coming to Nickelodeon. Either just started on Nickelodeon or it's coming there soon. It's been on Paramount Plus, which is how I watched it. But it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on in the lore and on the cartoon. It is, aimed at a younger audience, but it's still a fun Transformers show. Anyway, there is deluxe class TERRAN Twitch. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more cool stuff later this week.